You are watching UBC Lunchtime News live from the Now Avenue today on the 21st of August 2021. A very good afternoon and welcome. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha. In our top stories of the day, with sad news, the Deputy Inspector of Police, Major General Paulo Lokech, is dead. Now, the Inspector General of Police, Martin Ochola, and police Twitter handle confirmed the death, saying that Major General Paul Lokech passed on this morning at his home. Uganda People's Defence Forces spokesperson Brigadier General Flavia Bequest also confirmed the death of Major General Paul Lokech. The former commandant of the Uganda Rapid Deployment Capability Center in Jinja was appointed Deputy Inspector General of Police on the 16th of December 2020. Major General Lokech joined the National Resistance Army, which was later renamed Uganda People's Defence Forces on the 1st of February 1987. Lokech is one of the commanders credited for breaking the back of Al-Shabaab militants in Somalia when he was commander of UPDF contingent between 2011 and 2012. Because of his relentless confrontation with Al-Shabaab insurgents and capturing key historical places, he was nicknamed the Lion of Mogadishu. He previously served at Uganda Mission in Russia and a division commander before his assignment in Somalia. Lokech further served as Air Force Chief of Staff.
Got pills in many different colors too. Morning light is showing, she moves the chair to look out at her view. But a shop was pushed right across the street. It stands by the sunrise he used to be. In the afternoons on the couch to read, goes through old pictures and memories. Our heroes have been forgotten.
Major General Paul Lokech, the Lion of Mogadishu. He is a hero, a statesman, brave fighter, and a Pan-Africanist. Major General Paul Lokech is one of the best UPDF commanders who have earned the army huge respect on the continent due to his dedication and selfless service. His military career includes service in various leadership capacities, including 2 tours as the command of the Ugandan contingent to Somalia as part of the peacekeeping force, where he performed very well, earning him the title, the Lion of Mogadishu, from the Somalis.
That's one of the reasons that made us move out to ensure that we take the war to Al-Shabaab and push them far away from inflicting casualties on the civilian population within Mogadishu.
He has also served as part of Uganda's peacekeeping forces in South Sudan. He was part of Operation Safe Haven, a UPDF operation in the Democratic Republic of Congo intended to neutralize the Allied Democratic Forces. His first tour as commander of the Ugandan contingent to Somalia, commanding battle groups 8 and 9 between 2011 and 12, he registered lots of success. It's at this time that the UPDF managed to eject Al-Shabaab militants from Mogadishu in 2011.
When we came to this theater, it's a bit difficult because we are fighting in a built-up area. So the best we had to do was to adapt. We had to adjust ourselves very fast to fit within that type of fighting. Of course, fighting in an urban area or urban terrain is the most difficult warfare for any military in the world. The challenge of an urban warfare, in particularly to the UPDF, was that we had been fighting counterinsurgency in an open terrain. Mostly when you look at the northern part of Uganda, we had been operating in southern Sudan and then Congo areas. This is a different terrain from what we have got here.
Here, when you have not controlled the corridors and the tall buildings, that's where the problem is. But once you have already controlled the corridors, you have already constructed the escort barriers, and you have entered the tall buildings, then you take the lead.
In the built-up areas, you find that the enemy, Al-Shabaab, and with their foreign allies, because Al-Shabaab is being backed by foreign fighters. And then you find they have dug tunnels. They are fighting along tunnels. And these are new concepts we did not know. They had bunkers within the built-up areas. They have dug tank ditches so that in case our armored vehicles are moving by, they could always fall into those tank ditches and they target it. But all the same, we had to move hard to ensure that we overcome those challenges, and we did. The only option is to move forward and take the war to the enemy. because we were sitting in one place and the enemy could keep on throwing mortar shells in our positions. Even the airport was under threat. All our roads, our lines of communication were under threat. So the best option was to move the enemy far away from our position. So first phase was to move towards Bakara. Not to capture Bakara, but move towards Bakara. And we achieved that around the 28th of May. We achieved that, and that is Wana Road. Second phase was to get Bondere. And when we got Bondere, it gave us now, it expanded, it created, it gave us now room to move on the enemy from a lot of prongs.
He also commanded the UPDF in September 2011 to expel the Al-Shabaab militants from Bakara Market.
The economic hub that Al-Shabaab had been using to raise funds or revenue to support its operations, and that was Bakara. Mogadishu Stadium is so strategic to us because it controls the inlet into Mogadishu. So when you are sitting on Mogadishu Stadium, you control the bigger inlet into Mogadishu from Denley. Currently, the enemy can only use Afogoye, Denley, and then come to the stadium. Via the stadium, they could go to Bakara. So when we closed the stadium, that means Bakara became irrelevant to them. They could not defend Bakara anymore when we captured here.
I just hope their stories will still be told.
He was briefly sent to Moscow as a military attaché to the Ugandan embassy. He returned to Uganda and sent to the 2nd Division in Western Uganda to replace Lieutenant General Peter Elweru, who had been promoted to Land Forces Commander. In November 2019, he was appointed for a special assignment to monitor on behalf of the guarantors of the South Sudan peace process, the assembling, screening, and mobilization of the armed forces in South Sudan.
Forgotten, our heroes so brave and bold. Our heroes have been forgotten, our heroes so they got old.
Such a sudden death that has caught so many Ugandans unawares, and very sad to know that he's actually gone, such a young man as well. May the Lord strengthen his family and friends to take them through this period. Now, in more stories, National Resistance Movement members of Parliament have overwhelmingly endorsed the recently adopted parish development model. This follows a proposal by President Yoweri Museveni to have each parish receive at least 100 million Ugandan shillings per year for agriculture development purposes. During the NRM Parliamentary Caucus meeting at Kololo, Museveni highlighted 5 advantages of the parish model, including easy organization of parish groups. Details follow.
Friday afternoon's Parliamentary Caucus meeting for National Resistance Movement was meant to endorse the recently adopted parish development model. The objective of the meeting was achieved in this overwhelming endorsement. This followed an appeal to NRM MPs by President Yoweri Museveni to endorse this model, whose advantages he highlighted.
It is small enough, you know the households, you can know who is doing what and who is not doing what. So that's why, therefore, we said, why don't we concentrate our efforts at the parish? Number one, so to have got a definite geographical area where somebody is answerable.
Upon enumerating these advantages, the head of state had this appeal to make.
I really now demand that the NRM leadership puts 100 million shillings per parish per year. 100 million. Why do I say 100 million? Because if we put 100 million per parish per year, in 5 years, we shall be talking of 500 million. in the parish circle, government contribution, and revolving.
To support him with the Prime Minister and Minister for Local Government, who justified the quest.
We are suggesting that a seven-member committee headed by the LOC2, the chairman NRM, the chairperson Women Council, the chairperson Youth Council, the chairperson PWD, and the parish chief as the secretary, and at least one person from the elders to head the parish model.
We're saying under the parish model, we shall pay attention to community access roads, bridges, upgrading the local markets, extension of electricity to our communities.
To achieve all this, it will take ring fencing of some percentage for women and youth, as emphasized by some MPs.
If we do not mention that a certain amount, a certain percentage is ring-fenced for women, Your Excellency, this will be abused at the level of implementation.
In the parish, all people are there. And if you want to ring fence for them, that is the best place to ring fence. Where you say, out of the 100 million, 30% is for women or 40%. I don't mind whatever percent you want to decide.
With this assurance from the head of state, it is a model that is projected to drive the country's development agenda.
So every year, if you are putting 100 million in a parish, and specifically for production and primary production in a way that you just look at agriculture, and under agriculture you look at animal husbandry and crop husbandry, I think this is going to awaken people to improve production.
There is no way youth will now be in the centers when they have this money, which is going to be like 30 million or so directly for the youth. So the youth will engage themselves in the wetland areas and produce a lot of fish.
Uganda has had similar development models, including in Tandikwa, National Agricultural Advisory Services NADS, and Operation Wealth Creation, among others. Some of these are reported not to have registered much success, a reason why the parish development model has been adopted. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, the good news is that Uganda is registering a drop in the number of COVID-19 positive cases, according to the Ministry of Health. The Minister for Health, Dr. Jane Ruth-Aceng, confirms that COVID-19 positivity rate has consistently dropped from 22% to now 2.8%.
COVID-19 is one of the most devastating diseases the world has suffered, and it is in the interest of people that this deadly disease comes to an end. Ministry of Health confirmation about the reduction of COVID-19 positive cases is one of those relieving statements as people yearn to resume a normal life.
A consistent reduction in daily confirmed cases from the peak of 1,735 on the 10th of July 2021 to a new low of 62 on the 15th of August 2021. 2, a consistent drop in positivity rate from the highest of 22% to an average of 2.8% to date. 3, a fall in the daily admissions of the severe and critically ill patients from a peak of 204 to less than 50 a day to date. 4, a reduction in the daily deaths.
However, in spite of the good news of the reduction in COVID-19 infections and deaths, the Ministry of Health still warns of a looming third wave that is anticipated to be more lethal.
Projections from our scientists show that the third wave of the pandemic is likely to peak at 4,000 laboratory-confirmed cases per day. This is over 2 times higher than the second wave. This means that 15% of the patients will require admission at the health facility, and about 9,331 patients may require high dependency units or intensive care unit admissions.
Meanwhile, travel guidelines have also been reviewed and there is no longer categorization of countries. The new measure is that all travelers, including children, will be subjected to PCR COVID-19 test at all points of entry.
Any traveler, national or non-national, who tests positive for COVID-19 will be evacuated by the Ministry of Health to a designated COVID-19 isolation facility. C. Children under 18 years who test positive for COVID-19 will be allowed to undergo home quarantine with their parent or guardian. The basis of this is to ensure that we limit the spread of variants and avoid importation of new variants into the country.
Government is, however, striving to ensure that more COVID-19 vaccines are acquired to vaccinate eligible population.
18 million doses of the Sinopharm vaccine for 9 million people expected to arrive in phases beginning October 2021. 2. 9 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine from the African Union to cater for 9 million people. This is expected to begin arriving in the country next month, September 2021. 3. The COVAX facility has committed to provide donations of up to 18 million doses to cover 9 million people. These developments align our pipeline expectations to cover the 22 million target population plus the additional population of children.
I think our position is the same as that the WHO has taken, requesting the developed countries to hold on this decision to undertake third boosters so as to make vaccines available for the other part of the world. And this is largely because we will not be able to effectively control the COVID pandemic unless we vaccinate everybody globally.
Currently, there are 471 COVID-19 patients admitted in different health facilities, with a few others on home care across the country. Adiana Kote, UBC.
Now, our funeral service is currently going on in Buziga, Kampala for the late Lieutenant General Pecos Kutesa, who died a few days after the casket bearing. His body was received at Entebbe International Airport by senior officials of the UPDF led by Lieutenant General James Mujira and Brigadier Flavia Biekwaso. Several mourners have described the late Pecos as an educated military officer. The widow, Deborah Kutesa, talked about her husband as a person who loved the army more than his family. Now, she said she donated her liver to her husband 12 years ago to live until he would die. She thanked the UPDF family and President Yoweri Museveni for loving her family and giving them maximum assistance. Now, Pecos is survived with 6 children, 2 boys and 4 girls. The late General Kutesa, who died in India on Tuesday this week at the age of 65, had retired from the army on the 5th of August 2021 after serving in the forces for over 42 years. Kutesa, who represented the UPDF in the 10th Parliament, will be buried this Sunday at Kabula, the Antonde district.
In an ambush, and immediately they saw it and went and watched him. And he put it away. But you'd be reading a novel, said you are there in an ambush, you are bored, you are not moving, you are doing anything, you are not doing anything. What else can you do? You just read. You'd be reading a book in ambush, as you can imagine. So he was
Well, we pray that the Lord still strengthens the late Kutesa's family and friends. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7 hash and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Man, guess what happened yesterday? I entered the what? The taxi. But the pregnancy is from the what? The generator. Then my phone does toot, and the toothbrush breaks in the what? In the porridge. Then I call who?
Wait, what?
First wait, I am still telling you. Then the jerrycan does what?
Love to talk? MTN My Paka Paka now has more minutes. Get My Paka Paka voice bundles to talk and talk at no extra charge. Dial *160 *1 hash to activate My Paka Paka.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
You're still watching UBC Lunchtime News. In our business stories, efforts to eradicate illegal fishing on Lake Albert have been eased upon an agreement between Uganda and DR Congo fisheries officials. Originally, both countries acting on their own, it was difficult to get lasting results on this largely vast lake, and at the worst led to security tensions between the two countries. We have details from Okech and Sentama.
Several illegal boats and nets have been destroyed following an initial joint effort by Uganda People's Defense Forces and their DR Congo counterparts against use of bad fishing gears on Lake Albert. This joint patrol for fisheries enforcement to curb illegal exercise was launched on the northern part of Lake Albert at Day Landing Site.
We had regional meetings. These regional meetings were between the Republic of Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the meetings were in Mahagi town, and the date was on 3rd August. In that meeting, both countries agreed to conduct a second set of regional joint patrols, and a number of areas were discussed. They agreed on the dates when to start these operations, the period when we should be conducting these operations. Actually, what we are doing right now here is also being done by our counterparts. It arises from that joint communique that was signed, and it was agreed that these operations will be conducted for 3 weeks.
The local fishermen are optimistic this move of joint patrols will enable progress once respected by both parties.
We agreed to comply with the government, with the policy of the government that say people should stop using illegal gears. We should continue, we should start changing, developing the recommended gear so that we can ensure the good quality and quantity of fish in future. That one is very perfect.
The commander of the Fisheries Enforcement Unit, Lieutenant Colonel Dick Kaija, confirms that the memorandum of understanding between the two countries is the beginning of an era that will solve many issues on the lake.
The objective of this is to ensure conservation on the shared lakes is sustained. Two is also to harmonize the policies on the fishing because the lake is shared. For example, ongoing talks between the two countries on fishing of silverfish and fishing using lights, which Congo does not allow, and yet it is legal in our country, Uganda.
The operation that will be on both lakes Edward and Albert has been integrated in the Fisheries and Water Resources Management LEAF 2, which is a project under the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industries and Fisheries. Such operations elsewhere, like on Lake Victoria, have yielded fruit with better quality fish.
That's all we had for you for now. Thank you so much for watching UBC Lunchtime News with me, Sharon Kyomugisha. Have a lovely afternoon and stay tuned for more programming coming your way on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda.
Airtel Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Patriotism is a feeling of love, devotion, and the willingness to sacrifice for one's country.
I say no to corruption because I put my country first. I choose peace over violence because I put my country first.
I love Uganda. I serve Uganda. I sacrifice for Uganda. I'm loyal to Uganda. I love myself.
Be patriotic. Uganda first. This message is brought to you by the National Secretariat for Patriotism Co Uganda, Office of the President.